What if you could take that risk, make that change, reach that goal, live your best life? Welcome to another episode of the What If You Could podcast, where we get together with amazing experts and everyday people who share challenges, encourage healing, and explore the possibilities that life has to offer. I'm your host, Gary Scott, and I'm excited that you're along for the ride.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of What If You Could. And today I have a wonderful, lovely, very energized guest. I love this whole ensemble, Tammy. This is Tammy Cox. How are you, Tammy?
Oh, I am so good. I love your energy. I'm feeling you and I'm absolutely knowing that this conversation is going to be epic.
Epic's one of my favorite words. So let's do this. I'm gonna go ahead and fire off your bio real quick,
Okay?
and then the pool's open, and then we'll
Okay.
just dive right in. So, okay. About Tammy Cox. Tammy Cox is a highly skilled transformational coach who specializes in helping women rebuild their lives and relationships through profound emotional healing. With a core emphasis on inner child work, she guides her clients in identifying and healing the unresolved traumas that often lie in the heart of relationship challenges, enabling them to reconnect with their authentic selves and create deeper emotional intimacy with others. Tammy's coaching approach is informed by her own transformative journey. Having faced the emotional scars of childhood wounds and their ripple effect on their relationships, Tammy understands firsthand the power of healing from within. She has turned her personal struggles into a source of strength and now empowers women to take control of their healing, helping them create fulfilling, loving relationships and live with greater purpose. Through her coaching, Tammy provides women with the tools to heal past traumas, break harmful relationships patterns, and cultivate emotional resilience. Whether you're navigating a relationship crisis or seeking deeper connection with self love, Tammy's empathetic and action oriented approach will guide you toward the fulfilling relationships you truly desire. That's it. We can go. That's it.
Let's
That's
just go.
awesome. What more do we want? What more do we want in life, right? That's awesome, Tammy. Thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, I don't do a lot of questions, but because our podcast is called What If You Could, I do
Mhm.
just start with one question. And so, based on the what if you could method there, what if you could heal everyone? I mean, what if you were able to just take all these harmed souls and somehow, some weird Star Trek episode, just heal everybody? I mean, what would that look like to you?
Oh, we would have a really beautiful world, wouldn't we? There would be no more war. There would be no more looking for enemies. There would be no more enemies to find. There'd just be this pure love everywhere. But I do believe that the journey is very necessary and it's very good. I have clients that come to me and they want to like snap their fingers and be healed. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You're never going to be perfectly healed. The shadows will always exist, but like it's the joy in the journey of discovery of the why you are the way that you are. That journey of discovery leads you to the most important thing, which is discovering, okay, this identity that was created by those first 5 years of life can be recreated time and time again based on what I want to be, who I want to be, right? Did that go too deep too fast?
No, 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 no. I love it. I love it. It just brings up so much to my little tiny head here. Is 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 some of the foundation on what you do any rebirthing? Like the old rebirthing we used to talk about before, where it's kind of like you go way back to the womb and kind of bring it out, or does it start when someone can recognize their trauma and you help them heal what they've recognized?
Well, it's kind of all of the above. So, first of all, we have to understand that On the moment of conception, all of mom's DNA and dad's DNA become your DNA. What that means is all their trauma, pain, everything that they store, all the information that's stored in their DNA becomes part of your DNA. So you'd have to even go before the womb. You'd have to even go back, sometimes when I'm working with a client, what I'm trying to get, we're going to go through their lifetime, but then we're going to go back into their parents' lifetime. Because we know from just modern science, epigenetics is wrapped around every strand of our DNA, and epigenetics goes back 7 generations on both sides, mom and dad's side. So you're carrying around beliefs, pain, trauma, all the way 7 generations back on both sides. That's a lot to work through. And that's why I say, if you think you're going to heal yourself in this lifetime, I don't know if that's possible. But like I said, the joy is in the journey. We get to just curiously look and see what's there and see what we'd like to shift and hopefully leave our kids with less of the ish that was brought to our doorstep. Like that's the goal, right? That was a pivotal moment for me on my journey when I held my firstborn in my hands and the heaviness of like, I don't want her to live through what I went through. And it was a big part of why I chose to heal. And as I look at my 16-year-old now, and she's like taller than me, and it's like, that's what it's about. So the people that like embark on their healing journey, they're like, I'm like, thank you so much for doing this for the generations to come because it's not just about you. It's the ripples that you get to give this world by you choosing to embark on this journey, you know?
Mhm. So, so that's freaking awesome. So we're going back and we're saying, look, this isn't your fault. A lot of the things that you're suffering now, you brought with you. These were there before you got here. And so you can't blame yourself. You can't beat yourself up. You can't be harmful to yourself because this isn't, you didn't do this. So let's go back further and let's start trying to heal things that you're not even responsible for in any way. I mean, is that
Yeah.
kind of where you're going with that?
Oh, that's 100% true. And we want to get to the place where there's no blame, there's no fingers to point at anyone. Seeing that when we look with the compassionate eyes, when we start pulling out, because a big part of what I do with my clients, so we all have all this trapped, dense emotion, unfelt pain held within the body. And what I do with them over weeks' time is start pulling out that stuck, dense energy within the body. It is literally inside of your meat suit and your field. So as we start clearing that out, what that does is it really clears the space and we get to look at it and see that there's no one to blame in all of this, that the system was set up actually for our good and it's a beautiful system. However, it's an opportunity for us to look at the why it is. But when we look to blame and judge, these are very low frequencies. So if I have a client that I've been working with several weeks and she's still in that blame and victim mentality, we got to go deeper. We got to go way, way deeper because pain begets pain, begets pain, begets pain. So when we look at that, that's why if we want to heal the world, we can't sit there and accuse these people who are hurting other people. We have to look at why they're doing it. We have to go deep within them and we have to fix the root cause. And everyone's kind of wanting to deal with band-aids and the quick fixes. That's not a thing. People, we got to go deep within. We got to figure out why they're in so much pain that they want to inflict pain on another.
Hurt people hurt people,
Yeah. It's
right? I
it's
mean,
a
hurt
it's a
people hurt
saying.
other people. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a thing. And so I mean, this is really incumbent on your clients, your patient. I mean, I would imagine on your initial consultation, you'll be able to judge, dude, if you're not going all in, if you're not willing to go deep with me, I don't even want to start the process with you because you're already, I can feel you're reluctant, you're fighting, you're holding back. And I need you all in, right? I mean, I need you to go deep with me.
Oh gosh, yes. I feel them from the jump. In fact, so I have a podcast too where I take people through my process. It's called Behind the Veil Anonymous Transformations. They come on. We don't show their face, but but you hear them, right? And I take them through a process and I know within the first couple of minutes if they're open enough to get past the victim stage. You know, if I have a pure victim sitting in front of me, I don't want to work with them. It is like trying to jump up a 200,000 foot wall. Like I don't, no, no, thank you. They have to be open. So yes, absolutely true. If they are not ready, I feel it instantly, and I'm like, okay, not going to get very far here. So yeah, I mean, we could literally feel people's emotions. A lot of people call it psychic, but it's like every single sense we have in the physical, we also have in the non-physical. So that's how come a person can walk in the door, you can take one look at them and know what kind of day they're having, right? You
Yeah.
know that. You feel
Yeah.
it. You don't even have to look at the expression on the face. You can feel it. I know when my husband is not having a good day. But I also, because I've tuned my energy to other people, I know I've studied people my whole life. I can look at someone across the room and I know their personality. I know how they are in every relationship because I've studied and really tuned in with my non-physical senses. And we all have the ability to do it. It's just we don't know how, and so we don't. But yeah, it's like we don't hide anything. So I will know how open a person is just by looking at them.
Well, it's all energy based. I mean, it's like when we first came on. I mean, I immediately felt the energy of your studio, your podcast area. Immediately I was like, wow. I'm so locked in right now to the salt stone, to geodes, to the plants that you're nurturing behind you, to the grass wall, the blue, the lighting, everything there, the energy was immediately good, right? And
Yeah.
I've done enough of these where sometimes I go, oh man, this one's going to be a challenge because already they've shut down their energy for a great podcast by what they're presenting, what they're doing. And I would imagine when you get with someone and they're just fighting you, it's just like, dude, I know I can get you there. But you've got to trust me. You've got to let it go. Let me get in there and get with you. I mean, are there times where you just go, you got to go until you can come back and, like your child, go back to your room until you come back with a different attitude. I mean, were there times you just can't get there with people?
Yeah. When I was earlier in my practice, I was just kind of wanting the experience. So I kind of just like took everyone on. And through my years, I've, really gotten keen to be like, if I feel so much resistance in the beginning, if I see these markers, if I feel that, because we're all going to have resistance. It is hard to change. It's hard to heal. This isn't an easy journey. And I kind of I let them know that right up front. I'm like, I'm not telling you it's going to be easy. I'm not telling you that you're like, it's intense. Like, I'm going to give you a high five. I'm going to say thank you so much for doing this work, but I'm not going to say, "Ooh, this is going to be fun and easy and happy and do do do," because I'm not. But what I will say is like, you will experience so much freedom. You will free yourself from so much of the weight. You could not compare me 20 years ago to the me today because there's a very different density, right? And so I wouldn't take it back for anything. But I will not tell you that the journey is easy and light. I will tell you, I'm going to hold your hand. I'll be with you the whole time. You're never going to be alone, and you are going to feel so amazing, and your life is going to be unrecognizable when you start on this journey. So, but it's not easy, and I don't want everyone. In fact, that's the place I came to where I'm like, if they haven't done any inner work and they are approaching their 60s or in their 60s, I'm not working with them. They have got to be at a place where they have started looking inward. They have started the journey. because it's a place of openness. You have to be open on this journey because that mindset got you, okay, it got you to where you're at today. Beautiful. But if you're not willing to let go of some things, then we're going to be playing tug of war a little bit. And I attract women that tend to be, because I have a big personality. I have a lot of controller within my personality. So I tend to attract softer women. And so I soften myself for them. But there are times where I'm like, listen, I will not effing let you treat yourself like this for another second. Like I'm standing for you, even though you won't stand for yourself. So part of my job is to be what they need me to be in that moment. And it's not always like, come here, let's snuggle. It's like, girl, you better leave this ish behind. I didn't ask you about cussing before, but usually I have a little more colorful language at these points. But I didn't ask that ahead of time, so I'll keep it.
Sometimes you got to drop an F-bomb, babe. Sometimes you got to do it.
When you're breaking through old cycles, old memory cycles in someone's head, the strong language really helps to wake them up. Like, hello, you're
Yeah.
on autopilot. Like, wake up here. This is your life. So,
I mean, let's face it. I'm 61. I talk to a lot of people. I've been around a long time. I mean, everybody's wounded. I
oh
mean,
yeah.
everybody is freaking wounded. Everybody's wounded. There isn't anyone who's not wounded. It's basically to what degree you're wounded.
Yeah.
And like you said, what you've been willing to do throughout your life to address the trauma and the wounds that are there. And there's so many people that just blow it off. They just go through their lives. I do, grief counseling and I just there's just people just go, dude, it's 30 years. Let's walk through this. And like that's why I love your approach going so far back. Because what we've found a lot of times through the grief work is it's not even what you came here. So, yeah, this person died or something like this happened, and you think that's where your grief is based. But it's not. We've got to go way past this event to help you clean this event, right? I found that. Do you find most of your clients are women?
Almost all of them are. That's another thing. There are some women, some men that are like you, open, working on themselves, willing to go there. Not most. They're waking up to it. I'm seeing more and more men coming into themselves, coming into as the feminine is rising. They're seeing more of the goddess within them. I like to say, because we both have the masculine and feminine, they're more comfortable now than ever before, and it's rising. But most men are still asleep in their emotions. In fact, sometimes, when working with a man, I do deep work. Like we go to the deep, deep places. And they tend to be so unplugged from their emotions that I can't even find where they're at. It's like they've shut them off. And I'm like, we've got to find this. And so the digging and excavation, again, same with like the older people who haven't done any work, it is much more difficult. It's frustrating for me. I'm just going to be honest. It's very frustrating for me. That's why before I start working with someone, I really make sure they're ready to go deep.
The
So yeah,
digging and the excavation. I love that line because
I mean, it is.
men are just programmed. Well, not in today's world, but most men are programmed to believe they need to be strong. They need to be the warriors. They cannot let out their emotions. They can't share with what's going on. They're the protectors. They're the ones to take care of all the problems. And so we don't let ourselves go there, right? I
Be
mean, we
vulnerable.
have that fear of we can't let down the veil of our manhood because somehow that'll make us less manly for some reason, which is the exact opposite of what you got to do.
Well, it's also, I think it's so sad. If I hear friends or even people around me, if their little boy is crying and they're like telling him to suck it up, or boys don't cry or any of those statements, I cringe so bad. And think about why little boys were programmed like that. They were programmed like that because they had to be desensitized and detached from their emotions so they could go out to war and kill their own kind, which is so against our nature. It's so backwards and corrupt and dysfunctional and gross. So the reason that their emotions have been turned off from that, and our emotions are such a great gift to us. They're such a gift to us. And I just feel like that's why I love that men are waking up and they're saying, no, I feel things like I feel pain too. And it's so beautiful. But I think as the feminine rises, the masculine is going to he's going to have to connect with his emotions. He's going to have to, because now his woman doesn't have to stay with him because she needs to survive anymore. She's going to stay with him because she wants to be with him. And in order for that to happen, he's going to have to meet her halfway, and he's going to have to open up to that other side of him that's been lying dormant, you know? And so whenever I see a man doing the work of opening up other men and activating other men to feel their emotions, I'm just like, yes. It just excites me so much. I'm like, yes, it's that time.
Well, I think that's why I was attracted to you and wanting to talk to you because um, I believe that w women had started to come in their own as a powerful regaining. Like I just did a great podcast with a witch, and so empowering for women. So empowering about bringing women back to what we were before we were beaten down, and so.
Hmm.
But I think we've taken a turn lately where women are losing their identity. They're losing, a lot of what makes women women. And I think
Yeah.
you talking a lot about bringing out the feminine, bringing women back to their strength, empowering women was really attractive to me because women are special. I mean, Mother Nature, women are goddesses. Women, no one, I don't care what anybody says, women are the only thing that can produce life.
Yeah.
Female creatures are the only thing that can produce life. I mean, think about
Hmm.
that. But for some reason, we're starting to steal women's power,
Hmm.
and I love how you're really working to help heal women to bring them back to their feminine strength.
Yeah, and you are so right too. Whereas in with the swinging, the woman took on a lot of the masculine energy, right? And I noticed that within myself so much. It was a big source of contention within my marriage, was just me with my high, very intense masculine energy. Right? But that was part of the thing. It's just like the pendulum has to swing both ways as it like kind of comes to center. And so it's part of the journey. And at the same time, who do we have as like a feminine leader who is just powerful in her femininity, that has like this equal balance of the masculine and feminine? It's like that's coming. It's coming, but it's not here yet. So
Yeah.
so we are seeking that balance within ourselves. I think that the masculine and feminine together are seeking that. I'm noticing with a lot of my women. So first, I was just very focused on married women who were looking to save their marriage. But then I said, no, I started attracting all these women who's like, no, I show me how to find that love. And so that's when I broadened out and I said, nope, it's the same work because we're healing the same wounds. It's just one has these beliefs and these have these beliefs, right? But with the women that were on their healing journey, they've started their healing journey and they're like, I don't know where the beliefs are or what the beliefs are that are keeping me from finding the love I really want. And it's like they've been on their path. They will not just take on a relationship just to have a relationship. They want a specific thing. And it's very beautiful. But in order to attract that beautiful, divine, healthy relationship, you have to be healthy and whole within yourself. And so we have to go within you. We got to pull out. We got to pull out the shadows. We've got to reconfigure your colors And we got to find who you really want to be, who you are at the core of your being and what your life purpose is, because that's going to give birth. Like, so for instance, when my husband and I, we lived many, many years in a really toxic relationship. Of course, it wasn't me, it was him.
Of course.
Course. But as I healed myself, I recognized that it was me. I recognized once I took ownership of all my life and I healed myself, then I healed my relationship. And I didn't even really try to. I was just working on me. Just the power of being in that proximity. But oh gosh, where was I going? I was going down some rabbit hole.
You're on a
Dang
roll,
it.
baby. Yeah, I was not going to stop you. But I have a question about where you're going with this. Is that have you found, because men have completely been stripped of masculinity, and more men are maybe have the, like you said, the pendulum has swung too much towards finding our feminine side, right? With dudes, it's
Yeah.
like, dude, let that go, man. Bring your man back. Let him out. Do you sometimes find that women are like, well, if I'm too powerful, if I'm too grounded, if I find myself, if I'm too strong in who I am, that I won't be able to find a man who can handle me or whatever, that probably isn't the right term. But you know what I mean? Do you find women are maybe fearful of like, oh, if I'm not that demure little thing that they can manhandle, then I won't be able to find a decent guy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about finding the balance. So when I was working with just married women before, they tended to be high supporters. So very passive, very, give all their power to their husband, and their husbands tended to be controllers. And so my work was trying to balance out the energy. You got to own your power. You can't be a doormat. You can't give away all your stuff. We got to balance that out. And now working with women who are dealing with all sorts of stuff, the real work is finding the belief at the we're following the patterns all the way back to the root belief developed in the first 5 years. That's what my work really is. So, it starts, I'll just give you like the sessions on how I do my podcast. I say, okay, what is your biggest issue in life? They're like, oh, this is my toxic pattern. I attract this man. Okay, cool. We go into it. Where is this? What is the feeling you get when you're in this relationship? The worst parts. And they identify where that's in their body. And I say, okay, let's reflect that out. What color is it? Let's reflect it out. Now take me back. And their eyes are closed. It's more of a subconscious process. And I say, let the image that reflects out from this be the first experience you ever had with this emotion. Where does it 9 times out of 10 take me back to? The first 5 years with dad. And they're always shocked because sometimes it's not like this really big, catastrophic, terrible trauma. Like the one yesterday, her dad was taking her to ride a big wheel and she was excited. But then guess what? Immediately fearful. Oh, he's going to leave and go drink any moment. And so we don't understand how trauma works, but she got to identify that the reason why she was attracting a certain kind of man was because of her dad. And of course she knew that on some level, we all do, but she got taken back to the very moment that she experienced that emotion for the first time. It's huge.
What, just to use that term because it's a really popular term. How deep is daddy issues? I mean, how deep are daddy issues with women who do struggle in relationships? I mean, that's a real deal, right? The daddy issues.
Oh gosh. Yes. Absolutely. It's so much of it. I mean, I don't want to say it's all of it because it is so big. It is so big. Yeah. My dad died when I was 11. He died of AIDS. He was abusive. He was controlling. So when he died, I was sad because I loved him on some level. And then I was relieved because he scared me so bad, because he hurt me so bad. There was a relief. And then there was guilt that I felt relief. So I, as a young girl, 11, very pivotal age, didn't have all three of my adult hormones yet, which change everything at 13, change everything. Didn't understand death, the finality of it, had to deal with the colorfulness of my dad's past that he hid, all the secrets, because I didn't find out he had AIDS until 1 month before he died. And so all of my beliefs around men hurt me, men aren't safe. What kind of men do you think I attracted with beliefs like men aren't safe, men hurt me, men are scary,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So yes, it's absolutely the beliefs. The beliefs are at the root of all of it. So if you're trying to put a band-aid on it and be like, no, no, I want to be attracted to the nice guy, you're not going to be attracted to the nice guy until you start to heal those wounds. You are going to want the toxic a-hole every single time. And if he's not an a-hole when you meet him, 5, 6 months in, don't worry, he'll come out. I just can't say this enough. If something is showing up in your life, it's always going to be because of the beliefs that you hold. 100% of the time, this is just facts. It's how the system works. So don't blame the system. Just go back and fix it.
So to kind of where we started, so man, do I know a lot of people with daddy issues, abandonment issues. I give and give and give and give and give because I just don't want them to leave. I'm afraid they're going to leave, so I do things I normally wouldn't do to keep them. Um, and then I suffer from that, and I continue to suffer from that. Um, and your father and millions of fathers who were like yours who damaged their daughters, but your father was damaged somewhere.
Hmm.
His father was abusive,
Hmm.
whatever. And like we said, hurt people hurt other people. So in your situation and what you're talking about, would you be going back if you were doing yourself? I mean, would you going back and say, listen, I got to look at my dad, what he did, who he was, but now I've got to look at what where from where he's come and
Hmm.
kind of understand and heal that. Is that where you're?
Oh yeah, that's what I do. That's what I work on all the time. In fact, my mom was here last week for Thanksgiving, and I was telling her, I haven't even gotten to your line, Mom, because I'm still working on Dad's. Yeah, it's true. I go back through his lifetime and heal, and there's so much there. I haven't even gotten to touch my mom's, and yes, yes. And until you do that, you cannot have the compassion to say, if you refuse to forgive, forgiveness is such a big thing. If you refuse to forgive, then you are blocking yourself off from a rich, delicious wholeness. You have to forgive.
I I
You
want a
have
rich,
to.
delicious wholeness. I want rich, delicious wholeness.
You
I'm
can
gonna
have
get. I don't
it.
have any tattoos, but now I found what I'm gonna get. Rich, delicious wholeness. It might be a tramp stamp. I don't know. I don't know if that's going too
Oh,
far.
gotta have a tramp stamp.
Gotta have a tramp. So my mom is a complete psycho whack job. She's 88, and my brother and my sister, they're half. They're from a different father. We share the
Hmm.
same mother, but they're just so mean to her. They don't understand her, right?
Yeah.
But her childhood was so fucked up. I mean, it was just a disaster, right? That she's carried that, and they don't see that. They don't. Maybe they do, because my sister's 10 times sicker than my mom. My sister's a complete disaster, and she'll never face it, right? She'll never face it. I talk to my mom about it all the time because she carries all this pain. Like, Sonny, I got to go back to the doctor because my stomach's killing me and I've got these headaches. I'm like, Ma, we've had your stomach checked 8,000 times. It's not your stomach, it's your head, right? You've got to get some help and release all this stuff, or your stomach's never going to stop hurting you, right? So not
Well,
only does it
the
reflect in,
stomach is on on the maternal side, so her issues are more with the mom.
well, she carries a lot of guilt there because her mom died when she was a baby. She was
Oh,
born in New
there you go.
York, and her mom left the house. It was a difficult birth, but her mom left the house at like when she was like 3 months old because the baby's cold. Baby's cold. I got to go get my baby a jacket. The mom went out, got her a jacket in the winter in New York, and got pneumonia and died. And I know my mom has never, ever forgiven herself. I think she blames herself to this day that somehow a 3-month old killed her mom, right?
Mhm.
So um, it's just a wicked thing that we carry. And where I was getting with that was a question. Is I'm sure. Do you see a lot of people that have these mysterious physical pains that they say,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
dude, it's not physical. Let me get you. When I relieve the mental and the spiritual, you'll see your physical go away.
Yeah, I had one client, she's like, I've never had this little pain in since since I was 13. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what happens. The disease that just falls away. Disease is just, it's from the mental. So if you don't understand how it works, then that's why I tell people they're dealing with all their physical ailments. And I'm like, you could do that. You could do all that's all band-aid stuff. And I don't mean the trauma work because obviously, if you have a trauma wound, you get in an accident, whatever, you need trauma work, right? Surgery or whatnot. But we're talking cancer, we're talking all the diseases of the body, they're all mental. So if you have if you're just dealing with medicine and you're not going to the root cause of why your body just sends you signals, hey, we got something here we need to deal with, like with the stomach. I already knew your mom had some stuff with her mom, right? We once we attune ourselves to the pain, we know that the pain is just saying, hey, sweetie, we got something here. You haven't really been reading the small cues, so we had to get a little louder, and then it'll get louder and louder and louder, but you're not dealing with the core issue. And I know it's so hard for us as healers to deal with our the people we love that just won't look at their stuff. And I always tell my fellow coaches, my fellow healers, like we have to be okay with where everyone is at in their journey and just say, this is their free will and this is their choice and that gets to be okay. And I'm just gonna lovingly be here like whenever you're ready. But it is
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. I just, that is why they call it dis-ease. You're just, your soul is not at ease. Your past is not at ease. Something's not at ease. You have dis-ease, and that's why, to use what you just said, I mean, I tell people, I love you, I bless you, and I let you go
Mm,
because
so beautiful.
I, I can't go there with you anymore. I love you. And I wish
Yeah.
you nothing but blessings, but I've got to let you go because I only have so much, right? My
And you can't
tank is
get
only so full, right?
Yeah, and you can't get wrapped up in other people's results, even if they're paying you. You're leading them to water, but you can't make them drink it. You can't, like for me, I know that the ones who are going to get the most out of their time with me are the ones that do all the homework I give them because it's that time in between. Yes, we have our sessions, but that time in between is very important. And it tells me, you know, there's a Bible verse where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. And it's like wherever you put your money, wherever you put your time, wherever you put your focus is what's important to you. So I know if you do your homework, your results are going to be greater. So I have to be unattached to your results, even though you're paying me for it, because I'm just giving you all the gems and I can't be attached to whether or not you take them or what you do with them, right? And
Yeah.
that could be hard because our little ego goes, and that's part of why I vet my clients so much is because I don't want someone who's, halfway in dipping their toes in the water. I want them to be all in. And yeah, because you want the results for them. It's like, I want you to have this transformation, but I cannot make you do these things.
Yeah.
It can be
Yeah, I tell
hard.
my folks, and you've been so gracious with your time. I know we got to start wrapping this up, but I tell my folks, I need you to play all in. If you don't want to play all in, it's like that thing you do at offices. You're going to fall backwards, and all your fellow employees are going to catch you, right? You got to trust that when you just drop, we've got you, right? So if you don't have that trust, if you can't fall, knowing I'm going to catch you, then we can't play. But real quick, I just want to cover a couple things. You keep bringing up color. Why do you keep bringing up color?
So the first two languages we learn when we come into this world is color and emotion, and we tie them together. So a lot of the processes I do deal with the colors stored in the body because they're directly attached to emotion. And not all colors align to the same emotions for everyone. But like if you saw my podcast, everyone has their like it's all about colors. But that's the reason, is because the emotion is tied to colors and trapped. It kind of you know about the chakras, right?
Mhm.
And it's this is all just energy. Everything is energy. I know we have this meat suit and it feels physical and it feels real, but the energetic part of you, the aura that we can now take a picture of and see it, it's very real. And the aura is just based on all the emotions and beliefs and everything that you've experienced is all within the aura. And energy is supposed to move freely. The places it doesn't move freely, those are the shadows. And what we're trying to do is pull the shadows out. So, color, short answer is color is the language you first learned, and before you had words, and it's directly connected to all your emotions. So we could even if you didn't have a picture directly connected to that color, if you connect the emotion and the color, we could work on your energy field, so to speak, your belief system.
Awesome. Cool. I'm going to take a look a little bit further than that. Yeah, because I do believe in the chakras. I do believe that just, your different balances and your different colors like that. So I just have one last question and I'll let you go if you have one more sec.
Yeah,
Okay.
go for
So
it.
I always finish the podcast by asking people one final question. And basically it doesn't have to do with your work. It doesn't have to do with your past or your healing or what you're doing, but if you could leave people with one thought, just one last thought, something that's important to you, whether it's a saying, a quote, a mantra that you live by, whatever, um, what would be that one thought that you'd like us to have, that you'd like to leave us with?
There is not one thing in your life or about you that you can't change. Nothing. You could change anything about yourself. You could change anything about your life if you believed that it was possible, obviously.
Awesome. That is so true, man. I don't know how long ago was it. Earl Nightingale, not Earl Nightingale, but Andrew Carnegie, I think. So whoever said
Mm-hmm.
it said, if you can achieve and believe, you can conceive. If you can conceive
Cons-
and believe, you can achieve, right?
yep.
Isn't that what it is? You can conceive and believe, you
Yeah.
can achieve. And so, hey, listen, you are awesome. I mean, that was the 45 fastest 45 minutes of my life. I just, you're so fascinating. There's so much there. I love everything you do. You've got so much. So, we're going to post everything on the podcast, your websites, how they could reach you, and anything like that. But before we hit the road, do you have one more thought before about finding you or what you do or anything like that before we skedaddle?
I would like to say for my podcast, we're always looking for volunteers to come on. So if you'd like to have a free session, dip your toes in the water. You can, it's on my link tree. You could go ahead and sign up there. But if you have a question, I love when people send me questions, mostly relationship questions I get. You can find me on Instagram. I love answering those. But yes, if you're wanting to have a session with me, get on the podcast. It's completely anonymous. They don't see you, and you could have we're just getting really great transformations there. So,
Is it
and
like
thank you
the
for having
FBI?
me.
Is it like the FBI where your voice is altered like that so they don't know your voice? No?
No, no, your voice will be the same. It's all deep.
Well,
No,
you
no,
are
that was
awesome. Tammy Cox, I thank you so much for blessing us with your time. You're amazing. You are just a light of amazingness. I can imagine you really help so many people, and I'm just so grateful for your time. So, everybody, thank Tammy Cox. We're going to put all of her information on there. Go on there, get on her podcast, do the anonymous thing with her. She will help you because trust me, we all need it because we're all fucked up.
yeah, we are.
We
We are
need,
all fucked up.
we
Yep.
need help. So,
Truth.
all right, kiddo,
Thank you
you're
so
awesome.
much for
Thank
having me.
you.
Oh, your energy is delicious. I
I
know I said that a lot. It just,
love.
it is it's such a warm presence. I've really enjoyed this time with you.
Thank you so much. Well, I
Mhm.
will see you again, and I'll let you know when we get cooking.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Thanks again for joining us on another episode of What If You Could podcast. Please subscribe, like, share, and give us any feedback. We'd love to hear it. And remember, if you can dream it, you can do it. See you next time.